everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we are back again. And we're just going to talk now about Walking Dead and the most recent episode of the 10th season, the 15th episode titled The Tower, and the fact that we're now kind of winding down the Whisperer conflict and coming to the final stages of that. And if you didn't know already, it was announced a couple of weeks ago that the actual season finale, the 16th episode, actually won't air now to later on this year, citing really problems, or not problems, or delays due to the post-production. I did a video recently covering this, the fact that they air an episode, and of course once you film it you've still got to do all the editing and sound mixing, post-production, etc., and it's normally done 2 to 3 weeks prior to the episode airing live, right? And one would assume that the 16th episode being a season finale is going to be a massive epic episode, obviously because we're assumingly coming to the end of the Whisperer conflict, so I'm sure we're going to get a huge kind of siege and battle scene, not too similar to what we had with the episode, I think it was To Walk With Us, if you remember, when the Whisperers attacked Hilltop and we had that great fiery kind of battle when the heroes were trapped and they basically got overrun and overtaken, right? So you'd expect something double on that kind of level of spectacle. So that's what a lot of people were assuming was the reasons why they had to take longer to do all the post-production. And of course this COVID-19 outbreak meant that they couldn't collate normally to where they would to do the post-production. They're probably having to do a lot of the effects from their home locations. So that's in a sense why we're not getting the finale next week. So this episode here, The Tower, it's not really a great episode in itself, but I just felt because we're not going to get the finale next week and we won't really get a focus on Walking Dead till the end of the year, it's probably more appropriate just to quickly just review or just observe this episode and just speculate really what we potentially may get for the finale. So yeah, this episode, it was mixed really. It did set up more of the threat of the Whisperers, and we see them really now amassing into such a large force. They come into now Alexandria, which I thought was a bit strange. Now it was never clear that everybody just decided just to abandon Alexandria. Now we're kind of on the run, everybody's kind of hiding out in this kind of hospital, if you like, location. It was just decided we're not going to fight for Alexandria, we're not going to try and repel the Whisperers, we're just going to abandon it. There was no transition, as far as I know, there was no transition leading up to when we see the Whisperers just infiltrate Alexandria and the group making that decision to leave, right? Unless I'm wrong, I might have missed a scene from last week's episode, but yeah, that was just a bit strange just to see them kind of just infiltrate that. And we see Beta now standing on the balcony with his other deputies, if you like, and we see Alden and Aaron hiding in the kind of tower place, seeing all the Whisperers congregate on there, and they're kind of radioing the other locations, updating them on the constant movements of the Whisperers, right? So again, I'll comment on this. The decision now to kind of eliminate Alpha really has taken any kind of last moments of intrigue or, if you like, fascination with this Whisperer threat now. It's just Beta just leading the Whisperers now, talking in this growly voice. I think he's kind of listening to voices or memories of Beta. I think they're kind of going for this subconscious kind of feel. The fact that, if you remember from the previous episode, when he stabbed the head of Alpha and he took off her face, which would have been zombified, and he ripped off half of his mask and he put on half of Alpha's mask, so now half of his face is kind of him and Alpha, and maybe the kind of facial skin, if you like, of Alpha has carrying over her sort of memories and instructions to him, was all in his head. So that's the kind of sort of dynamic they were going for. But yeah, Beta just isn't as fascinating a character on his own. He needs really to feed off that contrast with Alpha. So once you take that away, he's just kind of this standard threat and just leading these Whisperers going forward. And you kind of just like, let's just get to the massive conflict already. He's just walking through the fields, and again, anybody that calls him the new Alpha he goes to kill, right? And we have that when that woman was going to kill him, and then he goes to, sorry, the woman called him Alpha. He was going to stab her, and then at the last minute, he has this kind of message from Alpha to go forward and find out where the others are hiding, right? So yeah, it's just a very kind of generic threat on there. Another big aspect, of course, was the introduction of Princess. Now, this was, of course, following on from when Eugene was going to reconnect with the person he's been communication on the radar. I think the name is Stephanie, I believe. They've been keeping that going for the last couple of weeks, and he was going to venture out. And of course, Ezekiel and Yumiko had joined him on there. And yeah, I'm going to say Princess is just an annoying character. A lot of people may find her very sprightly and very energetic, but I just think she's annoying. She's just one of those characters. It's just too much. It's just too much. Now, I know they did it as well because she's been on her own for a year, so she was very excitable to come across people, right? And or that excitement, that sensation of just being in social contact with somebody else just really kind of over energized her, and she was just chatting non-stop, and but it was just the thing she was doing. So first of all, some zombies come across them, and she shoots the zombies, which scares the horses that they used, right, and scares them away, right? So she takes away their major form of transportation. Then she leads them on this path into a minefield, right, where she makes that as if she knows where all the minefields are, but maybe she doesn't, or she forgot, or I know this path, but maybe there's been a few changes. But the fact that you're leading them into a minefield after take away their transportation already, so already she's making these stupid choices that potentially could get characters killed, and that's one of my pet hates about Walking Dead. Characters doing stupid things that can potentially get other members killed. I've commented on previous episodes about Carol doing reckless things, leading characters on a certain path, right? And again, this is not appealing me to this character, right? That she's putting other people in danger just because she's overexcited about talking to other people, right? So just for me, just very loud, very chatty, just very annoying character. And again, they did try to make us empathise with a bit more when she talks more about being on her own as such. So you kind of sympathise with her a little bit, but then when they decide to accept her into the group, and then she's asking, oh, can I take this? Can I take that? I've got food here. Can I take my stash share? And I'm like, oh my God, just stop. Yeah, it's just too much. Yeah. So, okay, a lively introduction. Hopefully, if this becomes a main character for season 11 and onwards, maybe they can just tone it down a little bit, and then we find out a bit more backstory, what family members she used to have in the past, and where she came from. Maybe they can kind of build up her more into a more substantial character going forward. We'll wait and see, but for me, not the best of introductions. We had, moving forward now, really good scenes involving both Daryl and Judith, and again, this is really trying to bring Judith more into the forefront and kind of get her used to the kind of horrors of this world and the difficult choices that have to be made regarding taking lives and doing a kind of necessary, even though it's going against your sort of values or your ethics. We saw this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, with that great scene when Errol, I think it's Errol or Ethan, had to take his own life in order to save the kids from the fact that he had been bitten and that he was going to turn, and then Judith had to see how he tried to take his life and it didn't work, and then she, in order, had to do the final deed, and that had an impact on her, and then Daryl had to console her. So yeah, I think that's a good way of steadily building Judith's role. They don't just have her as this fearless warrior who can just do everything and not be faced by anything. She is a child after all. So this is her walking with Daryl, and again they come across this impaled whisperer, and Daryl wants to get more information about the whisperer. She gives him the information. Daryl then kills her, and Judith says, why did you do that? She had a family. And yeah, Daryl just explained to her, look, she was going to die anyway, and she's one of the enemy. So we're going to see more of Judith making those choices as we go forward in other seasons as well. So yeah, that was a good steady progression of Judith's character, right? So we also had a good scene of Negan and Lydia, and again, Negan now has come to the fold. We're not quite sure what his role is now. Again, I think they made the mistake in not kind of seeing that development of having him and Daryl arrive back in Alexandria, and then Daryl telling people that Negan did indeed kill Alpha, and seeing people's reactions and the changed perceptions of Negan now. Is he more accepted in society? You know, he's kind of out in the open now and able to kind of go as he pleases, but do people still hate him or antagonised against him, or are they more accepting of him? We needed to see that. Don't just have Negan pop up there and just kind of just stroll around. Let's see that development on there, right? Because I'm pretty sure Negan's going to have a key role to play in the finale, and I would assume they're going to carry on his role for season 11, right? So let's see him progress more, and how the dynamics and attitudes are going to change towards him. But again, with Lydia, we had this back and forth where, you know, he admitted that he killed Alpha. Lydia kind of knew it was necessary. She was angry at Negan at first, but I think she came around to realising that, yeah, Alpha was a monster and there was no way to kind of redeem her or change her back. Negan actually comments on the fact that he did like Alpha, but yeah, he just realised she was just, if you like, too far gone, if you like, and that, yeah, he had to do that for, you know, the survival of the main group. So that was a really strong scene between those actors as well. So yeah, there's a couple of, you know, dynamics that this show does really well, where you have these kind of two-way contrast between characters, whether it's Daryl and Judith, or Daryl and Negan, or Daryl and Carol, right, or Negan and Lydia, or, like I said, what was a fascinating aspect beforehand was Negan and Alpha, or Beta and Alpha. The show and this season's done really good in bringing these two characters and seeing their different personalities and how they react to one another. So really strong scenes on there as well. So yeah, that was really the main bulk of this episode, and then we just see at the end the walkers now really amassing now, and yeah, we're going to get a huge conflict at the end. So hopefully that'll be the resolution whenever we get this finale, and then I'm sure we'll see some sort of setup leading into season 11 when we're going to see Maggie's return. I'm sure we'll get some more references to Michonne's whereabouts. We won't see Michonne, but I'm sure we'll get scenes where we'll see Judith talking to her over the radio, or maybe Daryl talking to her. There was a reference where Daryl said he did try to get hold of Michonne but couldn't get through. So they're just going to keep referring to that just to let us know, yeah, Michonne is out there somewhere searching for Rick. I'm still skeptical about these proposed AMC movies we're going to get, you know, focusing on Rick, and maybe Michonne may make an appearance. I don't know when those movies are going to happen, if they will indeed happen. We've also got, as well, I mentioned before, the new series of The Walking Dead. I think it's called, is it The New World Order or something like that, you know, where you focus on a young group of characters coping with the zombie apocalypse. I don't really see the kind of value of that. Why we're doing that? We've kind of got a show already dealing with that. We've still got Fear the Walking Dead. You know, I don't watch that show anymore. I kind of due that after season 2, but we've still got that running, and I think they've caught up more to the current timeline events, if you like. So I don't really see the necessity of that new show, but we'll wait and see when we get some more footage and we get ongoing trailers to see how that show's going to pan out on there. So yeah, those are just my overall thoughts on there. I think it's just time now just to wrap up this Whisperer. Like I said, I still think it was a mistake to kill off Alpha when they did. You've just taken away any kind of fascination with this story up now. Let's just have the big old conflict. They fend off the Whisperers. Like I said, I think it will just result in Beta kind of going over the top and losing control of the Whisperers, and they'll just disperse and just feed off away into their own set directions on here. I think that was a similar way how the conflict ended in the comics. But yeah, there's only really one way we can resolve this now. So let's just resolve it when we get the finale at the end and set up the season 11 arcs when we deal more with the Commonwealth and the New World Order and Maggie's return also, right? And we're going to see how she's going to react to seeing Negan again and the fallout from that as well, right? So yeah, those are my overall thoughts on just the season. Not a great episode, but I'm only really doing this review because we won't get the finale for a couple of months now. So it's just really just to kind of reflect on where we can go forward for the season finale. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you like this finale? Did you not like this finale? Well, finale, 15th episode. Did you think it did a good enough job of setting up for the season finale. Are you excited about that? Are you excited about season 11? Or do you think, has the show kind of run its course now? Has this Whisperer conflict been dragged out too far? Do you think the death of Alpha should have been saved for this finale, like I think it should have been done? Or you think it was the right decision to eliminate her a couple of episodes ago? So let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and as I'm continuing to try and grow this channel, and I'll provide more reviews and updates as we come along. So that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay at short distances, and I will see you very, very soon.